This is just a quick news update for Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. It is December 15th, 2021. Follow along.
Hey, watching man right now, you're watching dcbornrob on YouTube.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. My name is Rob Christian, also known as dcbornrob, DC Rob, Rob. I answer to them all. Thank you guys for watching. If this is your first time here and you get any benefit out of this video, do me a favor, go down and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to be alerted of any new videos, and like. Of course, like helps the YouTube algorithm. For those who take a second and go down and hit like, cool man said, you all right. That's right. Thank you guys so much. Much appreciated. Let's jump into this first story. Well, the first story is a personal one, has to do with one of my viewers. One of my viewers has recently passed away. Chief, if you are familiar with Chief, if you've been to Sweet Georgia Cafe, then you know who Chief is. Now, I got this alert from the WhatsApp group with Sweet Georgia Cafe, and I noticed that Rob, the owner, had posted this. So I'm going to read what he wrote and show a picture of Chief. It's with a heavy heart, I announced the passing of a fellow Matrix refuge. He lived in Ecuador for some time, went back to Michigan, and then made his final journey out of the Matrix. You may have seen him or met him at Sweet Georgia Cafe, his favorite place to eat in Medellin. He was a former Chicago police chief inspector. We're going to miss Chief. He told us all he was going to die in Colombia. He was only officially living here for about a month, but he died free. And I want to show this picture of Chief. I spoke to Chief myself numerous times. Chief was older. I think he was in his 80s, and he wasn't tech savvy. So I tried to help him with just basic moving around, because, you know, without an app, it's very difficult to do. So I asked Ed there at Sweet Georgia Cafe to give him a hand once he landed. But I told him as soon as he gets there, and I've told you too, as soon as you get there, you need to get over to Sweet Georgia Cafe. Check in your hotel. You want to get something to eat after you get refreshed and so on at your Airbnb or hotel, you need to go over to Sweet Georgia Cafe, grab something to eat, check in there. That's your landing spot, okay? That's your spot to go back to get grounded. That's your spot to get information. That's your spot to get good food, good drinks, and good entertainment, okay? But I spoke to Chief numerous times. I sent him there, and he told me, he says, yeah, you know, at this point, he says, Rob, I'm going to die there. He said, I want to die there in Colombia. He loved Colombia for some reason. He lived in Ecuador, so he's familiar with travel, but a former police chief from Detroit. We will sadly miss him. When I looked at the picture, I said, oh my God, is this the same chief? How many chiefs do I know? So I looked at my phone, and I had missed his last call. I think it was 10:28. I missed his last call, so I feel some kind of way about that. But for those who are going down, do me a favor, join our group, our Colombia-bound group. It's a travel group geared specifically to travel to Colombia. If you need to find a place to stay, if you need to go over the rules, if you need to hear the latest news, this is the place to go. If you'd like to join, send me your WhatsApp number and your name to dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, and I'll get you right in. Okay, this first story is a good one. It's from El Colombiano. It's entitled, Attention, the minimum wage reached 1 million pesos. And this is for Colombia. It says the increase was 10%, just over 10%. The minimum wage in Colombia for the year 22 will be 1 million pesos. That's a 10% increase, announced the President Ivan Duque this Tuesday after the national government, businessmen, and union leaders reached an agreement. The president mentioned that this has been the most important nominal increase of this century and highlighted the agreement as a historic achievement. For the last 3 years, we have tried to maintain real increases that will bring us closer to the point, he recalled. He also said that the attitude of the businessmen was generous and conscientious, and that this has been a cause of the workers of Colombia. He recalled Julio Roberto Gomez, a union leader who died of COVID at the beginning of 2021, with whom we always share the desire to reach that million pesos of minimum wage. In this regard, the Central American Unitaria de Trabajadores said on Twitter that this has been a struggle for many years as a result of the social outbreak. Now, I want you to know how much 1 million pesos is. This is the monthly salary. It's $250, 250 US dollars. Okay, so they're making more money, but 250 US dollars. There you go. To the next story. Let's get to this COVID stuff because you guys are going down right now. And of course, you already know the details. And just to run over it, if you are a visitor, if you are an American visitor, let's say, or Canadian visitor, or wherever else, and you want to go to Colombia, you have to be vaccinated. Okay, point blank, period. You have to at least have had one shot. If you have only one shot, if you've taken only the one shot, and you still want to go to Colombia, you just have to have a negative PCR test result. Okay. But if you've taken 2 shots and 14 days after the second shot has not expired, then you need to do that PCR test. But rest assured, you need to be vaccinated before you go. Now, there's 2 different categories. If you are a resident there, if you're a Colombian resident or an expat resident there, in other words, you have an M on your visa, you have some sort of a migratory, some type of migratory stamp or M on your visa, then you are eligible to just come in with a PCR test. So you don't have to be vaccinated. So for those who live there already, I know you guys are sitting around Sweet Georgia or wherever else saying, I ain't getting it. I know a lot of people don't want to get it. So here's your way through. You can still get to Colombia if you are a resident. But if you're just visiting, you need to be vaccinated, okay? But just to run through this story right quick, and I'm just going to do a couple of brief ones, okay? It says, as of Tuesday, December 14th, in Colombia, the vaccination card or certificate will be requested from international travelers who wish to enter the country. It should be remembered that this card can be presented both physically and digitally, and you should have it should have the full person's name, their ID number, the name of the vaccine or vaccine manufacturer, and the date of each dose. Now, I'll sidestep. Because when I went to Guatemala, my boss and his wife joined us for the first weekend. And he went the night before. He was supposed to come in a day earlier, Thursday night, but he couldn't because he didn't have his physical card. So on this side, rest assured, and let me tell you, I've been, I don't know how many countries this year, they will ask for the card, not the digital. The digital may help you if you're on the go, you're on the move, and you're walking around in restaurants and so on like that. Even a picture may suffice, but a picture will not work when you go to the airport. Whether or not they're accepting all digital forms, I don't know. I haven't tried. I have it through Clear myself, through Clear, so I can scoot through the line. I have it through them, but I have not tried it. Can I just use that one? Because there's a bunch of different organizations that do it in this country. There's only one in Colombia, so theirs is uniform there. But here we have a bunch of different apps that'll make it digital. But you need to have that physical card. Just go with the physical card, okay? Just count on that, okay? And it's saying the list of biologicals accepted by Colombia. Let's see, the Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Janssen, and Sinovac. Now, the question is always going to come, okay, I have one shot. I'm fully vaccinated, but I have one shot of J&J. No mention of that so far. Now, on the U.S. side, they're aware that only one shot will suffice. On the Colombian side, I would like to think that they know as well, but I have not read it yet, so I'm not going to pass that information on to you. Okay, the next one is from El Colombiano. It's entitled, Prepare the Card with the Whole Scheme for Social Life. In other words, if you want a social life, you need to be vaccinated to get out, or you need to show that you are vaccinated. Just going to read a section here. It says certificate with a complete scheme. Thus, from this Tuesday, it will no longer be enough to have a single dose unless it is from Janssen to enter concerts, football games, restaurants, and bars. All those over 18 years of age will have to certify that they have completed their inoculation schedules. Until December 28th, adolescents will continue to ask for only one dose. The mayors will be responsible for enforcing this measure, and otherwise, any sanctions could range from a call for attention to the closure of businesses that do not comply with the requirements of the Ministry of Health. So they're saying they're going to close down a business if you don't follow along with it. But let me tell you something. There's always a way. If there's a will, there's a way in Colombia. They'll make it happen. Next one from El Colombiano también. It says, how many travelers could not enter the country due to requirements of the anti-COVID? So I got up early. I'm on my lunch break right now, but I got up early and I read this story, and it says that not everybody made it. Was it a lot of people? Nah, not really. But it says, since this Tuesday, December 14th, a series of restrictions for entry into the country came into force that were adopted by the national government after the appearance of the Omicron variant. The measure, which include the presentation of vaccination card or certificate against COVID-19 and a negative PCR test, apply for travelers over 18 years of age who enter the country by air. Therefore, according to the Ministry of Health, the airlines are in charge of enforcing them at the country's airport. So they're going to check it on our side. During this first day of implementation of these restrictions, the director of Migración Colombia, Juan Francisco Espinosa, reported that 9 people were denied entry into the country for failing to comply with the measures. Now, how did they get on that side? I want to know. How'd they get past the American side? I'm assuming that they mean they caught them on that side. But it says the immigration authority pointed out that 8 admissions were presented at El Dorado Airport in Bogota, the most important air terminal in the country, while 1 was reported at Rafael Núñez in Cartagena. If you are headed to Medellin, Colombia, make sure you stop by one of Sweet Georgia Cafe locations, or either both. One's in Laureles, one is in Poblado. Make sure you tell the owner, Rob, that DC Rob sent you there. Also, if you need airport pickups or drop-offs, call my man Andres. His information will be below, and he's my guy for tours. So I just want to read this last one because it's from the U.S. Embassy, our Department of State. And this just goes over, it's officially on their paperwork. So if you want, I'll put a link in this in the description. If you want to read the official statement from the U.S. government for getting into Colombia regarding the new COVID restrictions there. It says event, new vaccination testing requirements to enter Colombia. Colombia's Ministry of Health announced effective December 14, 2021, new entry requirements for all travelers 18 years of age arriving to Colombia by air. For non-resident foreign travelers 18 and over, vaccinated non-resident foreign travelers must present proof that they have been fully vaccinated for COVID-19 for at least 14 days prior to travel. Bullet point, if less than 14 days have elapsed or if the vaccination scheme is not complete, the traveler must present a PCR with a negative test result taken within 72 hours of boarding. Bullet point number 2. Unvaccinated, non-resident foreign travelers will not be allowed to enter Colombia. There you go. You don't get the jab, you don't get to go. For Colombian citizens, including dual U.S. and Colombian citizens, foreign residents of Colombia, and diplomats and their dependents 18 years and older. Bullet point, vaccinated travelers must present proof that they have been fully vaccinated for COVID-19 for at least 14 days prior to travel. Bullet point number 2, if less than 14 days have elapsed, or if the vaccination scheme is not complete, the traveler must present a PCR test with a negative test result for 72 hours before boarding. The proof of vaccination must be presented either in paper format or digitally. The certification must include the individual's full name, date of vaccination, name of the vaccine administered, and the number of doses administered. The Colombian Health Ministry states that the eligible vaccines under the new rule will be those the World Health Organization authorized and those vaccines officially approved by the country or territory recognized by the United Nations, in which you receive the vaccine. Monitor the Colombian Health Ministry website for the latest guidance regarding eligible vaccines. These entry requirements are in addition to and not to replace the existing check MIG requirement. Yeah, I know you guys hate the check MIG. I'm not a fan of the check MIG. I struggled on it, and I know a bunch of you guys also. There's a lot of variations to it, and that's where our group comes in handy too, because you got a lot of experienced travelers who can help you get through that too. Sonny, by the way, let me know if you made it in all right. The existing CheckMig requirement for both inbound and outbound travelers. All travelers must complete the online CheckMig form found here, and it gives a link to it between 72 hours and 1 hour prior to arrival. That's different. It was within 24 hours of your flight or departure from Colombia. Carry a printout of the form and be ready to show the electronic version on your mobile device at Colombia. They're saying that bring both. I've showed, I haven't had anything printed. I've only showed the digital form each time I've gone, or the one time I've gone since then. There you go. And I'll leave it at that. But that's the latest news for Colombia and Medellin, Colombia. You guys be safe out there. Do me a favor, check out my videos on the brothers who have been held unjustly in an Ecuadorian prison for the past 4.5, almost 5 years. Do what you can to assist. More videos coming soon on that again, and more videos coming on my trip, my recent trip to Guatemala. Thank you guys again for watching, and be safe.
We have a YouTube channel. Like it.
Please comment and share if you liked the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.